Hi gamers! For this collecting tips video I thought I'd talk to you about game importing. Now, importing basically means that you're getting a game from outside of your own country. A game that hasn't been released here, or you just might want to get it in advance. So basically this means that the Japanese don't import anything, the Americans import games from Japan, and us Europeans import games from Japan and the USA. And well, like I've said before, us Europeans have gotten royally shafted in the past, not only because games took ages to become released over here, but you know, many games didn't even make it. Well, the situation is of course now better than ever before, even though there are some exceptions, like now we are soon getting the release of Demon's Souls, a full 9 months after the release in the United States, so it's really terrible still on some games, but you know, we're getting there. But it's not nearly as bad as you know, the old days. For example, on the NES and Super NES days, Europeans didn't get a single Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest game. Not one. You know, the first Dragon Quest game released in Europe was Dragon Quest 8 on the PlayStation 2. So, you know, it's really terrible. But you know, we're getting there, and now there are most games come out on all regions, and hell, there is even some games that come out even a week or a month before here in Europe, so can't complain. And you know, what should you import? There are tons and tons of games that haven't been released in your region, so I'd really suggest that you look into importing. And well, many machines have a regional lockout, so basically you can't play the games on your own machine, but there are ways going around that. Well, the best way of course is to get the actual machine from the another region, although then you have to observe the voltages and all that, so you won't fry anything. You might need a step-down converter between the machine and your wall outlet. But there are other ways to go around it as well. Of course, there are mod chips and other physical modifications. For example, here is the European Super Nintendo, and as you can see here, this is the American cartridge, and you can't even fit it in here, let alone even if you did, it wouldn't work on your machine. But you can do some simple modifications inside, and in the case of Super Nintendo you even have to chip away some of the cover here so that the physically different cartridge can fit inside here. Well, you know, you have to do something inside here. You know, the NES is one machine that you can do some pretty simple stuff to make games that are in the same size, same shape work. Obviously, Japanese games, which are smaller cartridges, they won't work on your American or European NES. But you know, check out the internet for those instructions. But many cartridge-based machines have these converter cartridges, like the Nintendo 64 and Mega Drive. But yes, let's use here the an adapter for the Super Nintendo. This is one of many, Universal Adapter Pro. And how it works is that you take a cartridge from the region that your machine is, plug it back here, and then it takes the regional info from this cartridge. Then you put the game you want to play here, and then plug in the whole shebang here in your machine. And presto, now you can play the American game on your European Super Nintendo. And actually, you can reverse this sequence. If you want to play the European game, you can still simply just plug it into your American Super Nintendo here. But naturally, if you got both the machines, you won't need any adapters, so that's good. Actually, Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 as well doesn't have any regional protection between Japan and the USA. You can actually simply snip some plastic tabs here, and Japanese games will work on your machine right away. Check it out. The Sega Saturn is also interesting machine. It has these converter cartridges as well, plugs in here, and be sure to get one of these with built-in memory, you know, so that you don't have to use the save function of the Saturn itself, which is a bit unreliable, and also some a cartridge that has the memory expansion for one of the more advanced 2D games that require the memory expansion. So get one that has it all. And well, you know that again, gotta mention there are some games that have been released in Europe that haven't been released in the USA. I think these are the best examples of it. Rez and Shenmue 2 on the Dreamcast. Now naturally these were later released on all regions on the PlayStation 2 and the first Xbox, but you know, these are just small samples that are the crown jewels of our European collection, and stuff that you know, one of the rare games that you Americans should import from Europe. You know, these are best played on the Dreamcast after all. But you know, you don't need to mod your system or use a converter on all machines. There are some region-free machines as well. Most handheld consoles are region-free, and of the home consoles, stuff like the Neo Geo, CDI, most games on the 3DO are region-free, and the PlayStation 3 is region-free. But sadly, Sony has forbidden online stores like my favorite store, PlayAsia.com, that they can't sell foreign games to Europe. I don't know, it all has to do something with marketing or something like that, but it's really a bum deal. Even though they have games on stock, they just can't sell them because Sony forbids them. The Xbox 360 has several games that are region-free, but you really have to check out which games there are. You can't really know by looking at the package, so just check out which games are region-free. The Neo Geo is a fun system in the regard that even though you can buy games from all around the world, and they will play on the same language that your machine is set on. So if you buy a game from Japan, and if it has an English localization, it will play in English. Of course, you can go around these. The best mod chip for the Neo Geo is Universe BIOS. Be sure to get one if you own a Neo Geo. But disk-based systems also have, well, almost every system has a mod chip, but if you don't want to open up your console or don't know what to do with it, there are some options for disk-based systems as well, like the Dreamcast and the GameCube have these swap disks that you just pop in the drive and then change the game from another region and you can play it. Well, you know, importing is well worth your while. I guarantee you that there are tons and tons of games that you'd really want to play that haven't been released in your region. And don't be afraid of the Japanese language barrier. You know, most games like shoot 'em ups or stuff like that, they can be played even if you don't understand anything of the language. And many shoot 'em ups even have English menus, so that is good. And well, it will really broaden your world gameplay wise, but you know, I gotta warn you that your collecting will be kicked up a notch as well. You know, so many games and so little money, so take care. Well, that was my import gaming tips. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.